The bomb never exploded. That was the part no one could explain, not the engineers who built it, not the generals who launched it, and certainly not the strategists who had promised the accord, asterisk. Earth won't even see it coming. Asterisk. They saw it. Worse, they understood it. The Valari antimatter payload, sleek and silent, had crossed 3 sectors in stealth mode, drifting toward Earth under quantum veil. Built to bypass every known defense system, it should have erased half a hemisphere in less than 2 seconds. Instead, it slowed mid-descent. Just above the Pacific, it stopped, hovering, held in place by forces its designers didn't even know Earth possessed. And then, it vanished. 3 days later, it returned. Same casing. Same insignia. But now, something was different. Across the outer hull were faint engravings, not inscriptions, not a message in any known language. Just lines, curves, adjustments, and equations. Mathematical corrections. As if someone had looked at the original design, sighed, and said, asterisk. You did your best. Let us show you how it's really done. Asterisk. Play it again, said strategist Vex Talcor, claws tapping the arm of his war chair. The transmission looped. A close-up of the bomb. The outer shell now featured a stabilizing array that shouldn't exist. The Valari had deemed it theoretically impossible at that power output. And yet there it was. Hovering silently in orbit, as if mocking them. Behind Talcor, his advisors argued. One insisted it was a threat. Another claimed it was a peace gesture. A third wondered if it was a decoy. Talcor silenced them all with a wave. Earth caught our most advanced warhead, disarmed it, upgraded it, and sent it back. That is not mercy. That is a message. He paused, eyes narrowing. What do we know about the one who caught it? Beneath Antarctica, inside Earth's Vault Zero, the disassembled antimatter core lay in pieces across a cold titanium table. Fluorescent lights hummed above as Dr. Erin Thorne paced slowly between components, hands clasped behind her back, her white coat smudged with dust. It was clever, she said, nodding. Not elegant, but clever. A technician frowned. You mean the warhead? I mean the containment logic. Their failsafe was actually quite beautiful. Primitive, but beautiful. Ma'am, we could have lost the hemisphere. Erin didn't look up. We didn't. That's the point. She tapped the core gently. Do you realize what this is? A bomb? She smiled faintly. No. It's a question. And our response was an answer. 4 days earlier, Earth's orbital silence grid had detected the inbound device. It was flagged, analyzed, and neutralized before the Global Security Council even convened. Vault Zero, Earth's most restricted facility, had been reactivated for the first time in 80 years. Erin had volunteered before they even finished the sentence. She had been waiting for this, for proof that the rest of the galaxy still underestimated Earth. They always did. Now, the upgraded device hovered in Valari orbit untouched. The Valari fleet maintained a 10-kilometer exclusion zone around it, afraid to scan it too closely, even more afraid to retrieve it. Back in Vault Zero, Erin reviewed the outbound packet one last time. Inside the device, nestled within the shielding, was a storage node. It contained no virus. No trap. Just a technical report, precise, clean, and marked with a simple header. Antimatter Containment version 3.7, your design optimized. Prepared by Earth Engineering Collective. At the end of the file, a single handwritten note, scanned and attached, read. Asterisk. We thought you'd want it back. Asterisk. Strategist Talcor stared at the projection in silence, mandibles twitching. They're mocking us, he hissed. His aide stepped forward, nervous. Sir? Earth hasn't made a public statement. There's been no broadcast, no fleet movement, no declaration of war. Only this. Which makes it worse, Talcor snapped. Mockery through silence is more dangerous than any threat. They're not posturing. They're inviting us to think. The aide hesitated. Should we respond? Talcor turned his head slightly. They didn't send a challenge. They sent a correction. He stood. I want a probe launched. Full stealth. Send it to orbit. Let it watch. I want to know what else Earth has been fixing. On Earth, Aaron stood at the edge of Vault Zero's elevator shaft, eyes fixed on the rising lights of the surface far above. Do you think they'll retaliate? Her assistant asked. She shook her head. Not yet. They're too scared to. Scared of the bomb? Aaron smiled, just slightly. No. Scared of the fact that we didn't build it, yet we understood it better than they did. Far above, in the black between stars, the Valari probe initiated its descent. It carried no weapons. Just sensors. Cameras. Passive systems designed to slip through Earth's orbital net undetected. And it would. For now. But somewhere deep beneath the crust, Aaron already knew it was coming. Because Earth didn't wait for enemies anymore. Earth watched. Waited. And when provoked, Earth didn't retaliate. It educated. The probe slipped through the void without sound or trace. Engine cold, systems passive, hull coated in a quantum scatter field so advanced even most Valari warships couldn't detect it. But Earth wasn't looking for ships. Earth was listening for intent. And intent leaves a fingerprint. It pierced the upper atmosphere over the North Atlantic. The world below was deceptively quiet. Oceans rippled gently, cloud systems swirled in fractal order, and city lights shimmered beneath the horizon like a sleeping circuit board. No defensive platforms activated. No beams tracked its descent. For a moment, it seemed the humans hadn't noticed. But the probe's internal systems started logging anomalies. Magnetic resonance spiked in rhythmic patterns. Satellite signatures flickered, not in reaction, but in coordination. Earth's satellites were whispering to each other in layered bursts, too brief and too complex to decode. As the probe lowered itself toward the surface, its imaging suite activated. And it saw. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, a structure pulsed softly under silt and salt. It wasn't metallic, at least not by known standards. It appeared organic in design but functioned like a reactor, drawing tidal and geothermal energy, weaving it through hexagonal lattice conduits. The probe's sensors locked onto it, until a black mist, digital in behavior, blurred the image. Then it vanished. No trace. No heat, no light, no wake. It was as if the trench had swallowed its own memory. Next, the probe drifted over Siberia. What looked like wilderness at first glance, vast and untouched, revealed itself in thermal overlay, massive rectangular voids beneath the ground, evenly spaced. Too symmetrical for geology. It ran a scan. Buried power cores. 10 of them. Cold and active, but each measured at the output range of a medium-class war cruiser. The scan returned incomplete. A single line appeared in the probe's feed. Acknowledged. The probe paused. Systems recalibrated. It attempted to disconnect. Too late. In Vault Zero, Aaron watched the projection. Third layer scan complete, said Kellen, her assistant. It tried subquantum mapping. It also pinged our old lunar defense net. Let it, Aaron said. You're not worried? She tapped a console, bringing up the probe's telemetry feed. They're not learning what we have. They're learning what we're willing to show. Kellen hesitated. That's dangerous. Exactly. In orbit, the probe initiated emergency ascent protocols. But its motion sensors failed. Internal gyros spun out of sync. Something, no one knew what, was interfering with its orientation. Back on the Valari command ship Crownless Fury, strategist Vex Talcor waited for the data stream. He watched the encrypted link pulse erratically, fragments of high-density footage flashing across the main screen. He saw the trench reactor. He saw the Siberian cores. He saw the acknowledgement. His breathing sharpened. Begin full decryption. Now. A technician shook their head. It's not encrypted. It's tagged. Tagged how? The screen flickered again. One final message replaced the footage. Asterisk. We allowed you this view. Please don't return uninvited. Asterisk. Then the feed died. Permanently. They didn't destroy it, Talcor growled. No, sir. But something in Earth's atmosphere shut it down. Almost surgically. Was it counter-hacked? No. The core wasn't touched. It simply stopped responding. Talcor stood rigid. He'd seen enough galactic threats in his lifetime. Plasma storms, rogue AIs, collapsing stars. But this was different. This was precise. Earth hadn't defended itself. It had displayed itself. Like a surgeon opening a chest cavity, just enough to remind you where the heart is. Back in Vault Zero, Aaron walked along the inner ring of Control Chamber B. You're not concerned they'll retaliate? Kellen asked. They won't. They'll escalate. Aaron turned to him. Good. The more noise they make, the more silence we control. She leaned over a secondary console and typed a short command. The probe's complete data packet, what it had seen and failed to send, was duplicated, indexed, and archived. What will you do with it? Kellen asked. Send them a thank you. He blinked. You're joking. Aaron smiled faintly. Am I? The next morning, the Valari received a new package. No warhead. No threat. Just a file. Plain text. No encryption. It was titled Galactic Class Weapons Handling, Notes and Margin. Inside 10 pages. Each line of Valari bomb schematics annotated in 3 colors: green for correct logic, yellow for inefficient execution, red for fundamental flaws. Final section. Suggested alternative paths. Including one theoretical correction that increased output yield by 41% with half the materials. Valari engineers reviewed the data in stunned silence. The math checked out. None of their physicists could explain it. But the bomb Earth had returned? It had used some of those suggestions already. The last page bore no signature. Just a handwritten annotation. Asterisk, we chose not to build the final version. You shouldn't either. Asterisk. In the Accord's high chamber, panic spread like wildfire. Earth silent, one delegate said. They're demonstrating restraint. Another whispered. No, muttered Tezhar of the Elgin Triarchy. They're demonstrating awareness. Which is worse? Should we sanction them? Sanction who? Tezhar snapped. The ones who rebuilt our bomb better than we did. The ones who let our spy escape with a warning instead of ashes? We didn't provoke them. We embarrassed ourselves. Strategist Talcor said nothing. He knew. This wasn't a negotiation. It was a psychological campaign. And Earth was winning. Back in her office, Erin sipped her tea. She watched the stars on the holoscreen, silent, distant, cold. Kellen entered. The Accord's demanding answers. Let them. They think we're hiding more. She glanced at him, eyes tired but sharp. We are. Vex Talcor hadn't slept in 40 hours. The strategist stood alone in the war deck of Crownless Fury, hands clasped behind his back, staring at the silent blue glow of Earth on the main display. No ships launched. No weapons deployed. No words spoken. And that silence was louder than any supernova. They're not reacting, his adjutant muttered. Talcor didn't blink. No. They're teaching. In the Accord's emergency council chamber, panic cracked the unity once held by fear. Delegates shouted across tables. Holoscreens played and replayed Earth's user manual, as if watching the footage again would explain it. Tezhar of the Elgin Triarchy raised a clawed hand. Enough. The noise faded. You don't understand what we're dealing with, he said. They're still humans, a Juarian admiral snapped. They bleed. Tezhar looked at him like one might look at a child. So do stars when you rip time apart. He pointed at the projection. That document? It doesn't threaten us. It doesn't mock us. It shows they've thought deeper. Looked longer. Understood more. And still, they chose not to use it. That's not restraint. That's control. On Earth, Aaron Thorne stood in the domed garden of Archive Spire 3, watching petals ripple under artificial wind. The grass beneath her feet was real. The light wasn't. But the peace? That was earned. A voice buzzed in her ear. Council request? Live feed. They're escalating. She sighed and touched the implant behind her jaw. Where? Valari. 3 fleets mobilizing. Intercept pattern aimed at Sol. Response from the Accord? Mixed. Some want talks. Some want war. She raised her eyes to the horizon. And Earth? Earth waits. The Valari fleets dropped from warp 5 clicks beyond Pluto, shimmering against the black like predator eyes in the dark. No comms. No demands. Just presence. Inside crownless fury, Talcor watched Earth's orbital space. He expected power surges, defense grids, launch signatures. He got none. Why don't they respond? His lieutenant asked. Because they already did, Talcor said. In Vault 0, Aaron sat in a low-lit conference room before an open channel. The signal was global, unencrypted, open to all frequencies. She leaned forward, voice calm, deliberate. To those listening, she began. We received your fleets. We acknowledge your weapons. We recognize your silence. A pause. And still, we do nothing. She placed a hand on the table. Because you've already seen what we can do, not with force, but with understanding. And that scares you? Inside the Valari command deck, Talcor leaned closer to the screen. She's broadcasting without encryption? She's daring us to hear her. We took your bomb, Aaron continued, and made it better. We didn't do it to mock you. We did it to show you we're not trying to win a war. We're trying to end the idea of one. Her voice sharpened. You sent death. We sent design. You sent silence. We sent comprehension. Now you've sent ships. She smiled, softly. Coldly. So here is our response. She pressed a command. Across all channels, across every Valari and Accord screen, a file appeared. Title * Galaxy Class Offensive Technology. Ethics Addendum. Inside, dozens of theoretical designs. Hyperfield destabilizers. Timefold warheads. Reality compression algorithms. Each one annotated. Each one incomplete. Each one marked. Redacted by human oversight, for the safety of all species. They're bluffing, hissed a Valari officer. Talcor didn't answer. He stared at the final annotation, glowing across his screen. * We didn't build these. We chose not to. But the choice was ours. *. Back in the Accord chamber, Tehar leaned forward. They're not hiding their weapons. They're hiding the decision not to use them. That's what makes them untouchable. In Earth's skies, nothing moved. The fleets lingered in orbit, bristling with weapons. No response came from Earth's grid. No retaliation. Just stars, reflecting silently across oceans. Then Earth's orbital satellites powered down. One by one. Then their global defense nets. Then their surveillance systems. Within minutes, Earth went dark. No pings. No AI traffic. No energy signatures. From space, Earth looked empty. What are they doing? Talcor's voice cracked. Sir, are they retreating? No, Talcor whispered. They're demonstrating they don't need to be here to be dangerous. The silence lasted for 24 hours. No movement. No message. No threat. The Valari fleets held position. Accord systems remained locked in analysis, unsure whether Earth had triggered some apocalyptic defense or something else entirely. On the 25th hour, Earth systems blinked back online. Satellites hummed. AI chatter resumed. Global energy flow normalized. Then one message blinked on every interstellar frequency. Every language. Every screen. Every fleet. You sent war. We sent understanding. Choose your future. Talcor stood, trembling, surrounded by screens he no longer wanted to read. Withdraw, he said hoarsely. His command deck froze. What? Now. But strategist. He slammed a claw into the console. They won by not fighting. Asterisk. In Vault 0, Aaron sat alone. Kellen entered quietly. You did it. No, she said. They did. He tilted his head. The Valari? No. The Accord. They saw the future. We just reminded them they still had a choice.